What if you don't hit your dream? I've heard this so many different times. What if you don't hit your dream? What if it never works out? But every single time I come back to it and I think, what if you do hit your dream? I have three little girls, and what they love is Disney. And one of their favorite movies is Tangled. In Tangled, you have Rapunzel and Flynn. Rapunzel has this dream. Every time on her birthday, when she was up in her castle, she could see the lanterns in the sky. Then she thought they were just stars. They're just like, oh, these stars that pop up in the sky every time. Then some guy named Flynn comes by and says, nah, brah, those are lanterns. She's like, well, let's go see them. And so she goes, and it goes through this whole experience of her getting to her dream. At that nighttime when the lanterns are lit, her and Flynn are in a boat, and they're singing that beautiful song that we all remember from that movie. But one of the things that Rapunzel questions is that as she thinks about her dream, she says, what do I do if my dream happens? And then Flynn, looking at her, says one of the most powerful quotes that I've ever heard Disney say, which is, well, then you get a new dream. I don't know how many of you have been able to experience getting a new dream, but it is an empowering thought. A lot of us might be stuck with thinking about, how the heck do I get this? One of the first things you need to do is to start with your imagination. You got to first start dreaming it. You got to first start wishing it. You got to start believing in it, that it's going to happen. So I want to talk with you guys about a principle of imagination. Now, imagination, it's the ability to form mental images. It's the concepts that we're able to think of in our mind. When we fall asleep and dream, it's our ability to fly. It's our ability to create things. Sure, we might have nightmares sometimes. Sure, we might fall asleep and wake up without dreaming. But in those moments when they happen, it's in a world where physics doesn't always work, where the laws of gravity, screw that. We don't need the laws of gravity, but you're able to do something that you've never been able to do before. And that's the power of dreaming, and that's the power of imagination. There is so much power in there when it comes to creativity, when it comes to problem solving. Think about any business that has ever been. It all started with a thought, and that thought led to a dream. And that dream led to them creating a blueprint. And that blueprint was then taken into action to build the business that you see today. There is so much power in imagination. Now, before I touch on why it's so powerful, I want to expand your vision a little bit. What is the best thing that you can do in your life today? You might think of it as taking care of my family, which is very important. You might think of it as drinking water so I don't die, which is very important. But I think one thing that is lost in a lot of things, and that's a God-given gift to us, is that we have the ability to choose what our future is. And that choice is a powerful thing when it comes to imagination, because we can expand our vision past the conventional boundaries, past what we think we could ever have before. But we're able to look beyond that. When I was a young kid, I wanted to be a vet. Absolutely. I loved animals. I love dogs. I love cats. All animals. Whenever I'd go to someone's house, people would be shocked because animals would just run up to me and they just love on me in the way that they love on me. And I'm like, oh, you're so cute. And they'd always say the phrase, oh, wow, my animal never does that to anyone. You must be a special person. And it's like, thanks for the compliment. But I loved animals. And, for those who have animals, people who love animals, there's just that innate thing that animals are like, those are people I want to be by because they love me. But that love for animals, it continued to grow and it continued to expand until I knocked down my dream. It was junior year in high school. and I went to a college. It was like a high school college they called J-Tech, where it's like you focus on specific things, you get a few college credits while you're in high school. Went to J-Tech, looked into their vet program. I walked into this room, and in here were the reptiles and the rats. And if any of you are like me, whenever you go to the zoo, I always avoid that part of it. I don't like going into the reptile section. I don't like seeing rats. Not my favorite thing. So I walked into the room, saw that, walked right back out, and lost complete desire in ever being a vet again. But then I was able to come up with a new dream. Now, I know some of you might be asking, well, Willie, what is the importance of you losing a dream? Isn't it about like that Rapunzel moment where you see the stars in the sky, where everything that you've been thinking about for the last 18 years happens? And then you find a new dream. Isn't that what it's all about? You know, sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you go towards a dream, something happens, and it falls by the wayside, and you got to think of something else. But that's the beauty of it. Imagination isn't limited by how many dreams you can have. Imagination is limited by us. And so I want you to expand your vision on your imagination, but I also want you to see the possibilities that it has. Because like I said in the very beginning, what if you don't hit your dream? This happened to me junior year. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be that vet. I got to dream again. I wanted to be a chef. Gordon Ramsay was the coolest my senior year of high school. I loved watching MasterChef. I loved watching Hell's Kitchen. I love watching Kitchen Nightmares. Anything that had Gordon Ramsay in it, I loved watching it. And I started working on becoming a chef and doing that hobby. Then as I got into it and got into my advisors and telling me about it, chefs at the time when they start out only make about $19,000 a year, which for someone who would eventually create a family and everything, that didn't seem like enough money to do it. So I lost that dream. Then I wanted to be a video game maker. I love video games. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I wanted to create my own, and everyone praised me for creating my own video game. Then I started working on it, realizing how much coding and stuff there was, and I dropped off the wayside. Then I wanted to be an accountant. Goodness gracious, how cool it was to want to be an accountant. Went into college, did a year and a half of accounting, and realized that even though I understood it, that wasn't for me. And then I jumped to the next dream, which was in business. I thought, oh, business management would be cool. I got my bachelor's degree and then didn't use it. And then I was able to dream again. I was able to be something that I wanted even as a kid, which was an author. I was able to write books. Then I thought about, oh, it'd be really cool to teach. So I go out and I'm able to speak on stages and everything. Now, Willie, you've thrown out so many ideas. What the heck does all of this have to do with imagination? What the heck does all of this have to tie into each other? I want to talk to two different people here. The first one is the person like Rapunzel. For the person who is dreaming for years and years and the dream comes true. And that question pops up, what can I dream of? What's next? Take Flynn Rider's quote of, you get to start a new dream. For the second people who, like myself, multiples of times, and it shows many weaknesses as I'm saying this out loud, what if I don't hit my dream? What then? Then for you, I want you to apply Flynn Rider's quote. Then you get a new dream. Whether you're someone who completes your dream, whether you're someone who takes in what they want but doesn't hit it, whatever spectrum you're on, I want you to know that it's okay to start a new dream. What's the process in that? The process in that is first overcoming the limiting beliefs that we have. All limitations are on ourselves. Every single limitation that we have is put on because of the thoughts that we have. And it can be so simple. I love Tony Robbins' activity where he says to stand up, and first he wants you to point your finger forward and turn around as comfortably far as you can. Some people get behind them, some people a little further. Then he says, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine yourself. Imagine yourself past the laws of physics, past what normal is. I want you to imagine yourself turning all the way around, just like an owl's head, turn all the way around to look the other way, where your body's contorting. Then he says, I want you to do the same thing. Lift up your finger, turn around, but I want you to turn to where you go on a full 360 and even more to a full 720, to where your body looks like a Twizzler in the Walmart aisle. Then after that, he says, okay, now I want you to open your eyes if they are closed, point your finger up and turn. And without a doubt, 99 out of 100 times, the person turns further than they did before. Was how far you turn a limiting belief that was on top of your mind? No. But it just goes to show you there are so many limiting beliefs that we have in our mind that as we simply take the time to imagine, to be creative, to get into a mental state to where we break the laws of physics, that we'll see that there is so much more that we can do. And so as I wrap this up to a close, I want to challenge those two people I talked about, the ones who got their dreams and the ones who haven't got them. My challenge for you is to imagine yourself for 15 minutes each day. Whether this is in the shower, whether this is laying in bed before you go to sleep, whether this is in the morning during your meditation routine. I want you to close your eyes and imagine a world that is working for you. Imagine a world that you have dreamt of. And I want to tell you how specific you need to be. Very. You need to be very specific. We're talking about jump into the physical. How is your body? Do you got a six-pack? Do you got muscles bulging out of your t-shirt? Are you hydrated? Do you feel healthy? Do you have unlimited energy? On the mental side, are you considered a wise individual? Are you someone who's a constant learner and reader? Are you someone who has books stacked up on the side of their nightstand and every night you read a book? Yes, every night you read a different book and finish that book. We're in imagination stage. We're not limiting anything right now. Jump into the social side. You walk into a room, everyone runs at you and wants to shake your hand and take a picture and get an autograph and see how your day's doing. Jump into the spiritual and emotional side of your self-love. How would it feel if you had so much love within yourself that everything else in the outside world was a bonus? Think about the house you want to live in. Is it red brick? Is it blue brick? Do you live in a purple and green house like Barney? Goodness gracious, I haven't said that reference for a while. How deep in detail are you wanting your imagination to go? Your only limitation is yourself. So I want you to take 15 minutes each and every day to have that creative time, have that imagination time. Because as you do, and you embrace imagination, and as you embrace believing in the limitless possibilities, that you are going to achieve extraordinary success. Not simply because you're different than you were 10 minutes ago, but simply because you dropped the belief that you had a limitation in your life. Go imagine yourself being better. Go and cultivate your imagination, dream big, and take action towards your goals, because that's what it's about. Because the master is the master, because the master has tried more than the novice has failed. So go out, write your story, and try.